What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Sayna Lynn, and you are back for another awesome episode of Cosigns and Tangents. I have another awesome guest for you guys today. Guys, girls, or theys, or who's. I have another awesome guest. His name is Brandon, and I actually got a chance to meet him or see him more on TikTok. That's where I'm getting a lot of my people from TikTok. And he was just awesome. I'm just gonna let him introduce himself, and then we're just gonna get into it and just have a great conversation. So, Brandon, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Of course. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Joseph. I'm an actor, speaker. I call myself a world changer. I actually just finished shooting a Lifetime movie in Los Angeles in the beginning of March, and then I'm about to shoot another pilot next week. And and I actually just made a YouTube channel just speaking on purpose, faith, and motivation. So just trying to touch lives, use what God has given me, and spread my light how I can.
And let me tell you guys, he really did just get me together. Because I had a transparent moment, and that's one of the reasons why I like having this podcast, because I want people to feel safe and feel the ability to be open and honest and just know that you're in a good space. So I was open, and I was a little nervous, because I'm used to kind of interviewing my friends and just people that I know. But since he's a virtual stranger, I was like really nervous, but he just calmed my whole spirit down. So I'm really excited just to share and just talk with you. So thank you so much for giving me your time today, Brandon. And like I said, I saw you on TikTok. My first video of yours of TikTok was where you were just you looked straight at the camera and you were just telling Black women how much you love us. And I was like, okay, King. And it's just something that I think I just needed to hear at the time. I don't know. I can't remember what was going on, but in this time where we just seem so divided, even down like racial and gender lines, it was just nice to hear some affirmation from a Black king. So thank you. So tell me just a little bit, just because I know also the other thing is I was watching your live, and then you talked about just some of your background, how you actually came from more of an educational background.
In New York, I was a paraprofessional, which is basically a teacher who works usually one-to-one with kids with IEPs who are individual educational plans.
That's what that means. Okay.
So yeah, I've done that. After that, I was a youth counselor working with working with girls in the juvenile justice system. And then after that, I was a sociotherapist working with youth in foster care. And that's when I received my calling for going into acting, and touched a lot of things in between that.
Oh, man. So can I ask you, how old are you? Because you seem like you've lived a lot of lives. But, when you're Black, we can't tell how old each other are. It was just like, oh.
So I usually don't say that. However,
okay.
No, I usually don't say it just because of just acting and things of that nature. But I am in my 20s.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm in my 20s, late 20s.
Oh my gosh. So such a lot of life just to already be in your 20s and just have so much experience, especially because I think when you said that you were in the therapy range, I was like, oh, I gotta talk to him because I'm very passionate to talk with Black men, just Black people, but mostly Black men about their mental health and what are they doing and how are they doing. Because I remember seeing a stream of TikTok videos where men in general was just saying how people don't really care about their mental health. And I was like, that's not true. But I do think there is a societal divide when it comes to that. Do you have any feelings about that?
Most definitely. First and foremost, just us as men, we're actually taught to withhold our feelings, withhold our emotions and things of that nature. And it's not the most healthiest thing to do. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, a lot of us, we're taught to be protectors. We're not taught to be, lovers or expressors and things of that nature. And on top of that, with society, I don't feel, I agree. I don't believe we are in a society to where we can express ourselves. Because I actually just looked at a post maybe a few days ago, And, you know, we see how people have mental breakdowns. You see when Tyrese was on social media crying about his daughter and everyone made a meme out of him and laughing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. There's when Will Smith, he's on a red table talk with his wife and she's talking about how she slept with August. And people
Yeah.
are laughing at Will and like making memes out of him. So it's like, you know, it's to a point where, dang, when I try to express myself, I get laughed at, I get
Yeah.
shunned. And, you know, it's a tough space to be. And lastly, I saw this one NBA player. His name is Michael Beasley. And he was on this, like he was on a podcast or a radio thing, and he was talking about, you know, all he does is play ball, and you know, there's nothing else he wants to do. Like, he made it sound like he was very shut off from the world. And the other guys, they kind of shifted in the conversation. It's like, yo, if you need someone to show it and all that, you know, I'm here for you. And he's like, nah, I don't need that, man. A lot of people say that, but they don't really mean it. They're not really there for you. And he had like a real moment, and it's like, wow. But that's one moment where they felt the realness in it, and you know, there to have his back. But he was even saying like, no one's really here for you. You know, I mean, people say
Yeah.
that. You know, it's just, it was very deep, but I think it's very real. You know.
Yeah. Because I think I saw that. And maybe because I'm not a sports aficionado, but I think, was it the one where the guy, he was talking about how his mom stole from him, like how everybody stole from him or something like that.
I
Because it
believe
was
so.
more, yeah. And I saw that, and it just broke my heart because the fact that he just doesn't feel safe. And because I think you're right, because like we do think of men in those areas of just being protectors. And I don't know if it's just, and I don't think it's just relegated to the Black community. I think we see it just from the Black perspective that, you know, of like a certain emotionality that men have to have, and women have to have. So we kind of pigeonhole each other. And so that's why I felt really bad, because I'm like, you can have emotions. You are, but thing is, I get it. You don't want to be laughed at for those emotions, because that's hard to be laughed at for your emotions and not feel like you have any support.
Yeah, and it's deeper than that, because it's like, I think sometimes it could be from any cohort, it can be from any background, but I feel like it's more so in, you know, the less fortunate communities. Let's say,
Mm.
like, because I feel like certain things we go through, it's due to a fact of us being from a poor background. You
Um,
know, us
the
being
social
like,
economic side.
yes, you know, joked on. You know, people would strip you, and like, and you're, you know, we joke and stuff, but like when we joke, we, in a sense, some people are trying to strip you.
Mm.
You know, of anything. So it's like you know, you have to put on this facade, and it's just like, you know, if you're disrespected, you got to fight. Some people, I don't want to fight, so I want to put on this facade to protect myself.
Right.
So it's a lot of things that come with it.
Right. And that makes sense, because I'm from Memphis. So if Memphis is like hood as fuck. So I hope you don't mind our cuss. I do curse, and you can curse too. But yeah, Memphis is hood as hell, and so you did have to keep a level, because I know I even do it too, because we as Black women, we do have a stigma as well of being the strong Black woman.
Definitely.
And that could be the angry Black woman if I don't show a certain type of energy. And I've always, in my personal life, I've always rode the super nice Black woman. And I don't know if that's just because of who I am or society, but if I know, like, if I ever show like a level of anger, it's always like, oh, why are you so angry? I was like, I'm not angry. I'm just passionate.
Right.
And but thing is, I can't show it because I don't want to show tears, because I don't want to seem as weak as either. So we're all kind of just pigeonholed into, like you said, the social, economic, cultural suppression of our emotions, I think. So I never thought about it like that, though. How, because I'm like, so do you think like people who are in higher social economical statuses can show emotions more, or just have more opportunities?
More opportunities. I think there's certain things that come with it. I feel like with us coming from where we come from, having to have that guard up all the time,
Yeah.
it makes it even tougher for us to, whether it's seek help, receive help, accept help, and to really walk in our truth.
Mm-hmm.
I think, it's more acceptable in the, I guess the Caucasian or any other uh, ethnicity or race to get therapy. It's not big on our side.
Right.
We don't look for therapy.
Right. We look for, and no shade, but like we do go into like churches or nothing.
Yes.
It's usually like church or nothing. Really, like take a nap or alcohol or drugs or something like that. But I think you really hit on something. I just kind of want to go back into the social economic side of it because I think we do see it as a divide racially, right? But I also think the bigger divide is the social economics because I think what the one thing I saw on TikTok was just white men who were talking about people don't give a crap about our emotions, and I'm thinking maybe it also white people in a lower economical status too feel the same way because I think people think of therapy as a luxury and not a actual right or a like a normal, like a normal, medical need. We think of it as
Right.
a luxury, like I'm gonna get a massage, that's luxury. But
Right.
no, like therapy should be like top tier, especially after the 2020 that everyone had in the whole goddamn world.
Most definitely. And I think a thing is we don't touch on that because
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a misrepresentation of what is priority.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, you know, it's similar to when you want to talk about what Trump is doing, and then I'm just bringing up random president, but people
Oh
talking
yeah.
about Trump and things of that nature and what he's doing and things of that nature. You know, yeah, he's talking about building walls and things of that nature, but I can't even fathom to even think or give attention to that because I got to work on making sure my kids are eating. I got to make sure I'm bringing money into this crib.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's things going on in the world, but because I still have to worry about how my kids will get to school, how we gonna eat, you know, how am I going to even get to work in the morning? I have these problems I have to work on. So that the problems that are nationally happening, it it I can't give any attention to that because my attention is on what I feel is important. And we would aside push aside the doctor, going to the doctor. We feel like something's wrong with us, but it's like I don't have the time or money to bring any other issues into what's going on now because what I already have is heavy. This is a heavy
Mm-hmm.
plate in front of me. So let me push this aside to deal with this. So like
Right.
we bottle and keep all these things that we should allow to come to the surface. We bottle them up and push it to the side so we can work on what other things we may feel is important to do.
And I know I'm definitely guilty of that. It's just like I just made myself go to the doctor. Like I got a new job and I was like, I'm gonna just work on this job. And I realized I was slowly feeling terrible. I was like, crap, I forgot I need to take care of myself. Because
Right.
like people, I think we think like self care is just like let me get a massage and let me get my nails done. But no, self care needs to be like you're going to therapy, you're going to your doctor's appointments on time, you're making sure that you ain't visually impaired. It's just a lot of different things that we like to focus on the superficiality of self care and what it looks like. But really, it's like the deep down internal stuff that you have to work on.
Right. Was
And
yeah.
yeah.
No, I
Um,
totally agree.
yeah. So you said something like that just bring out, people don't have time to let their true self show because of the guard. So let me just kind of get into you, Mr. Brandon Joseph.
Hmm.
Who were you before you found your true self?
Before I
Or are you still like because you started who is your true self? How about that? I rephrase it. Like I seem like you were able to find your true self now, or are you still working on that?
um it's a everlasting journey.
Mm-hmm.
I've been moments where I was in high school and I feel like, oh man, I found myself. I know who I am. I go to college and I'm like, oh man, now I'm walking in who I am. And then now
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a space where I'm like, whoa, like my eyes are open, and I'm truly walking in my purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and that's me with just my uh, connection and sitting with God. Like I'm very big on prayer and
Mm-hmm.
making sure my spirit's right and connecting with God to see, where I am to go and do and what He wants me to do in my life because He wants greater for me.
Right.
But just knowing and have clarity on that, I walk in that. And now I
Okay.
feel like I'm also, it's an everlasting journey as to how to grow, evolve, to be a better person and be a better light and to use everything that is in you in this world because we're here to
Yeah.
serve others.
Yeah, I agree. Because like my goal in life now, well, it's always been, but we hid behind like working and just doing things to get by. It's this quote I saw. It's just I want when the day that I leave this earth, I want to stand before God exhausted because all of my purpose, all the purpose and gifts that He gave me, I tried to put it out in the world.
You have to. There's this
Yeah.
great, there's this great, I forgot who said it, but they were saying this great explanation. And they said, imagine you're on your deathbed
Mm,
and you're surrounded by all the gifts and talents that were put in you. And they're looking at
mm,
you in that bed, mad and disgusted because you didn't
oh,
put them into the world. They're looking at you. They could have had a chance to expand your legacy, to touch others, to bring forth change and light into this world, but you allowed it to keep it inside of you. So
right.
now they're looking at you upset because they didn't have that opportunity to shine through you.
Mm. I saw that quote. I think it was Denzel, maybe, because he always comes with the jewels
Oh yeah,
of
Denzel got some
wisdom.
heat. I don't think it was him, but Denzel has.
Oh, my night.
I
Uh-huh.
just listened to Denzel before we got on this call too.
Oh, really? I love
I
him.
did.
That man, I love all the things that he said. But yeah, you probably right there because I remember hearing that too. And that actually really motivated me because I'm like, I don't want my gift for Gab to be mad at me.
Right.
That's amazing. Okay. So, like with your ever revolving true self, so what were some of the things that made you realize that acting was one of the things you want to get into after working as a counselor and working with being an educator? So, what made you get into the acting sphere?
So in college, my freshman year, a few people approached me about, they had like two modeling groups in my school. I did
You said it
that,
was what? I'm sorry.
like modeling.
Oh, okay. I got you.
They did
Mm-hmm.
modeling and things of that nature in school. So that was like, I guess, a touch into it. I did so when I was like a child, but like I always, I never really walked in it. So I did that. But then my junior and senior year, you know, I tried it to like someone asked me to help with a skit they had, so I did that. And then my senior year, I took an acting elective, and my teacher, she was actually a pastor as well, but
Mm,
she took a very strong interest in me and like pushing me to audition for this or do this and do that. And so a seed was planted, and I was like, I think I
mm,
met someone while I was a youth counselor working with the girls in juvenile justice system. And she was from Atlanta. And, she was a writer, director, and things of that nature. And I was like, oh, well, acting's something I enjoy doing. If you want to act, let me know.
mm,
But long story short, a number of things just came into play. And then I think when I started working working with the as a sociotherapist, it just came heavy on me, and I felt
mm,
it was a calling, simply saying you are to act.
mm-hmm.
And when I thought that, I was like, okay, cool. So when I know I heard something from the Lord, I'm like, I'm jumping on it. So I went and got acting classes, put a resume up, got some headshots, and I tried to go forward. But what's deeper is I simply think God wanted me to be at a higher platform than what I had for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, there's a number of things he told me, but it was like, A was to accept the bigger picture, and B, I received a word, and he told me he's not worried about me acting, he's worried about my character.
Mm-hmm.
So in this journey, he's developed my character, and so I'm like, I am nowhere near who I was probably 5 years ago.
Mm,
But like developing my characters to a point where, yes, I can give you these blessings, but I want to make sure when I give it to you, you do not destroy it. When I
yeah.
give it to you, you're able to not only get there, but you're able to sustain it. Because when you're able to sustain it, you can create prosperity for not only you, but for the rest of your family.
Mm-hmm.
And when I put you to that level, I want to make sure you have everything you have in you, you're able to give back to others to uplift
Yeah.
them.
That's beautiful. Can I ask you this? And it might be a personal question, but
No, go for it.
how do you feel that God speaks to you?
So God speaks to me. He speaks to me through my dreams. He speaks to me. At times, there's been a few times I heard his voice and it shook me. It's been maybe 3 times I knew I heard his voice. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. But most of the times he speaks to me through my dreams, through visions. And a lot of times, I ask for, God's things of that nature. He'll show me through signs and wonders. It may be something. He may speak to me through other people. Sometimes you don't like, to hear other people speak, but sometimes you need to make sure you put a different hat on, be able to hear and allow yourself to hear. A lot of us, we go through life, playing music all day and we go watch TV and then we go talk to our friends. It's like, put yourself in a position to hear and receive.
Yeah.
So, he speaks to me in a number of ways. It could be something I'm watching on TV and then something shows and I can sit there, I believe that's the Lord speaking to me. So he'll speak to me whether it's through other people, dreams, a number of ways.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing it. Because I know, I feel, because I want to get into kind of like a spirituality and just kind of see where you are. But I feel like with God, because I think people are always expecting like a burning bush or just like a loud thundering noise. But I'm like you. I feel like God speaks to me through people, the interactions that I can have. Speaking to strangers or just anybody, I'm just like, that hit me, that said a word to my whole spirit. So I like that. I was just curious because I feel like we need to hear, because I think we're expecting just like a dramaticism, but I think God, it can be very subtle and he can also be very dramatic. Because he's like, oh, you're not getting the picture, sis.
No, you're absolutely right. Because I spoke to somebody who I know hears from the Lord, and I'm like, man, I'll be waiting for God. I want God to like talk to me. Like, hey, God, what's up? Hey, what's going on, Brandon? What do you? No, I want that kind of talk. But someone I was talking to, she was like, no, you hear very well from God. And if anything, a lot of times, if I feel I hear him, I'll wait and make sure it's him. I'm like, was that you, or is that just me trying to jump on something? So I sit and listen. But basically, she said, no, you hear very well from him because your dreams, how I move. I'll make sure and confirm with other people who I know who are people of God and things of that nature. But you just have to trust. And a lot of times, let me say this last part.
Yeah, please.
The will of God is revealed by the peace of God. So a lot of times we may go through something. We may just want to do something on our own, but there's something inside of us that's like, I don't know if I should do it. But sometimes we go ahead and do it no matter what. When a lot of times now, I sit and wait to be like, should I do this? Whether I want it as bad as I want it. It doesn't matter how bad I want it. I kind of sit to make sure, because not everything is shiny is good. So I sit and make sure, God, it's just you. And if I have peace in my heart, then I'll move forward with it.
Okay, I
if
like
not,
that.
then it's like, I don't, because again, if I don't have peace in my heart about it, then I know that's not God. I know that's not his will. And I know this will probably cause more damage than what I see from face value.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, because it's like you feel like I'm gonna make that decision, but then you just feel that uneasiness, that unrest, that just like something just don't feel right. So I get that. Thank you for sharing that, because I know, like with me, I've been going through, I guess I say a spiritual journey. I just been like, after the last few years, I know I haven't been going to church, but I've been kind of just trying to go on a different type of walk, just because I feel like religion is hard to contend, because people have a tendency to ruin things.
They have their own agenda.
They have their own agenda. You're right. And so, like, I've just been trying to focus on the God of things and the actual things that he wants, and not what people see. So can I ask you, just where are you? Like, are you spiritual? Are you religious? Or are you, are you just you have a fervent walk with God? So what do you do to kind of keep your religiosity?
So
or your spirituality?
I don't really consider myself religious, because I know religious people, they're so caught up on the law, they're not open or able to receive certain things. I simply call myself a follower of Christ, and I lead with love. I don't care who you are. You could be gay, straight, you could have felony on you. Like, I don't care. Like, for the most part, I know God loves you, and like whatever you've been through, I know he can use you. Some people who are religious, they just condemn you because of things that you've done. But it's like, nah, what you've done gives you the right to touch others in the same walk that you've been in. God can use anybody.
Mm-hmm. I'm
But
like, I feel that too. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go
no, no,
ahead.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because that's how I try to operate in the world too. I'm like, God, He already told us not to judge, so why are you pulling up your all your judgment? There was this
Exactly.
poster I saw. This like God said, just be good to everybody and let me sort it out. I'm like, exactly. We'd be a lot happier if we just let God sort it out in the end. Just like
Yeah.
treat people nice and let God sort it out, because he's probably going to be a lot more nicer. Well, he is. He's a lot more nicer than what people put out there.
Yeah, most definitely. I used to talk to this girl when I was in college, and she was with her friend. He was gay, and we were talking, and then I think he was coming to grips like, yo, I'm gay, and blah 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 blah, and the girl ended up telling him like, you're going to hell, right? And my head was like, what?
Oh
I looked
no,
at her like, why the
sis.
freak would you say that to somebody? Because the thing is,
Oh,
you don't know. First off, you don't know his walk with God. The thing is, that's the thing, because a lot of people, they go by just the law and quote unquote what their pastors and things say. But to be completely honest with you, what allows us to go into heaven, I'm not going to get too churchy and whatnot, but the thing is, it was the heart. If you accept Christ into your heart, then
mhm.
like you're good. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
Right.
you don't know, because the thing is, people sin every single day. I can walk
Right.
by and see a beautiful woman. I'm like, man, the things I do to her, boom, you just sinned. You just that's a lust. You
Yes.
know what I mean? So it's to a point where why does that sin? Why is it lesser than the person who's gay? You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
feel like people try to make it black and white, and it's just like, nah. Okay, they sin, and
Right.
God still loves them. You sin, He loves you. So why are we trying to put other people down?
Right. I'm like, we wake up sinning when like women, we walk around people with our hair uncovered. Like
Oh, that's true.
we wear mixed fabrics. We eat swine. We wake up sinning sometimes, so I completely agree. I completely agree. Cause like, it was something you said that I completely, cause like, people always seem to forget that like Jesus died for all sins, but not just, he didn't like get on the cross. It's like, I'm dying for every sin except X, Y, Z, and this one.
Exactly.
I was like, he died for us all. And I'm just like, why are y'all making all these? I'm like, Jesus is who we're supposed to be following, right? And
Hmm.
so why we keep on bringing back old stuff? Like,
Exactly.
let's start where he stopped, and he died for us and rose after 3 days for us and took all the sin. So why we keep making up old stuff? Like, why we keep
Exactly.
bringing back this? And so that's my struggle, and that I'm struggling with. But I'm still like, I still love Jesus. I'm like, Jesus is cool, and I like reading like, I'm more of a, because I study anthropology and psychology, so I love like empirical proof. And so
Hmm.
I was reading like this called The Cold Case of Jesus, and it just talked about how there's this empirical proof that Jesus existed. And it was like, you guys, there's the Bible, but there's also proof that Jesus existed. So why don't we
Exactly.
just act like that and treat people good? Just stop
Exactly.
tripping.
And that's the deep part of it too. So like,
Hmm.
we are like, so we're all created in the image of likeness of God, right?
Hmm.
But the interesting thing is, we are all different. Why are we different? We're here to be of service to others. But the thing is, for us to be different, we all have different temptations. We have different things, that we have different vices.
Right.
So the thing is, my sin, I can be like very lustful. I can be, you know, out in the street, wilding. You can have a different vice, whether that's, I don't know, drinking and things of that nature. But the thing is, well, let me take that back. Let's say you have a lustful spirit and I have a lustful spirit. But the thing is, what God has put in me, that may be more of a danger to what He wants me to do as opposed to you.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? So like,
Elaborate.
so it's like, so there is, because we're different, we have different gifts and things of that nature. What I'm called to do, they're both still sin. And I'm just saying they're both still sin. But I'm
Right,
saying
right.
what I do what I do may be more of, there may be a bigger consequence because of the calling on my life.
Mm, okay.
Yours may be like, so you can drink, it may not be too big of an issue for you, but for me, if I drink, I'm out and belligerent, and then I'm causing mayhem. And it's just like, now you're destroying what I've built in you. Some of us have generational
I
curses.
get you. Yeah, I
You
get
know
you
what I mean? So
because
there's certain,
right,
yeah.
I got it because I know like some people, like you said, some people can drink and be cool. Some people like because I know I have the generational like my dad was an alcoholic, but he was a happy one. But then I
Hmm.
still have some family members that when they drink, they turn into whole different people.
Yeah.
And it can just ruin the whole vibe. And so for me, like I drink, I'm happy, then I go to sleep, and I
Right.
don't cause any chaos. So
Right.
just straight knocked out.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is. So it's like, God is forgiving, He's loving, He's merciful. So it's like, I think it's, a lot of us sin. We're born into sin. I think
Mhm.
sinning, we shouldn't condemn ourselves so much of sin, but I think it's more so when not only do we make it a lifestyle, but we make it like we put it above God Himself. So now it's a problem because I'm like, now I can't reach you. You're so
Mhm.
caught up in this lifestyle. You know what I mean? So it's like making sure your priorities are in check and that these
Right.
things don't take over you to a point where I lost you.
Because it
That
gets to
was
that addiction because that becomes the
yes,
thing that you worship more than him.
yes,
Because you like, I cannot wait to get my next bottle, instead of just like, I can't wait to walk into the grace and the gifts that God has given us or that's
right,
given me. I want to, you get distracted by the momentary and the instant gratification of whatever your addiction is. And you fail to walk into the purpose that you have.
absolutely.
This took a different turn, and I'm loving our conversation. I'm just going to put that out there.
No, definitely did.
Yeah, because I love having these type of conversations with people, just because one, there's no one perspective of God because there's 7 billion people in the world, and not everybody looks at God in the same way or has the same ability to or the same relationship with God. Because this guy called me a religious universalist. I was like, oh, okay,
Okay.
because I think that God is in everything, and even if the people that are not familiar with our version of God, it's God, because there are so many like universal different origin myths with literally the same kind of like funneling, like we may start out with a monotheistic view. I mean, a
Hmm.
polytheistic view of religion, but then we end up kind of going into the same, one God. But technically, Christianity is kind of polytheistic because we worship the Father, the God, the Son, the Father, and God, or the
Hmm.
Ghost.
Hmm.
But anyway, sorry, I tangent. But anyway. So
You're
I
good.
think God is in everything. Just to wrap it up, like even in because like we think of indigenous cultures, it's all the same, just by a different name, and we get so caught up on. I feel like we get caught up on like who's the best. I was like, it's not the best. It's all the same. It's
Right.
all the same. He just speaks to us by different names and different deities. We're just all the same to me. Um, so let's still kind of in the same topic. It was a question I wanted to ask you, and I just got caught up in my own like. um, so kind of going back into the mental health because because
Yes.
your perspective is so good because one you have that background in psychology and also you're a man, and so that's why I really want to talk to you. So can you tell me just a little bit more just about what things that you do to keep you like mental health wise? What do you do to support your mental health?
Oh yeah, perfect question. To be honest, um, I mean, one of the first things I do is pray and meditate. Another thing that I do is I find things that calm my spirit, whether that's, listening to music and a lot of just, I have things that I still enjoy doing, making sure you take a moment to yourself. Some people like watching movies, listening to music, go to the beach, do those things. I think it's good.
Mhm.
A lot of times I work, and a lot of
Yeah.
times I have to take a minute. So it's like, it's okay to give yourself that time. And a lot of times it's good to be by yourself so you can hear, organize your thoughts and things of that nature. There are things where I notice, like, if I'm in a frenzy, usually I notice if I'm like, whether I'm in when I'm like thinking too much, I'm like, yo, I need something to move, this, that, and the third. I know my sit, relax, breathe. I'll pray and be like, all right, cool. Like, cause I know, cause faith, I'm bringing it back to faith or whatever, but.
Oh, it's okay, definitely. Because that's part of your mental health. That's part of how
Most
you,
definitely.
so it makes sense.
So I really sit with God and be like, I know if I'm out of touch, I know I'm not walking in faith fully, because through faith, you put all your worries onto God. He's the author. So I was like, all right, cool. I just know I have to do everything on my part. And when that's done, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm waiting on God to move. But, because you just said it's a part of your mental health. And I wanted to say that I think it's interesting, because a lot of the people who suffer from a lot of anxiety and things of that nature, for the most part, I notice a lot of people who are very in tune with, God or in their faith. They're not the ones who are really dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression and things of that nature. And that's because I feel, we know is who we serve, and knowing, like, putting your worries and things of that nature into Him. Therefore, you can kind of move out of the things that kind of draw us. Because a lot of times we fall victim to what naturally is going on. A lot of us, we're going through financial issues. We're going through just things like relationships. It's to a point where when you recognize your purpose, recognize, things that you are to do, it's kind of easy to kind of like, I really don't need to deal with that. You know what I mean? It's easy to block those things off. So now you're more so, in a sense, you put the blinders on.
Right. You can
So
focus.
you can focus. So it's like, I know what's really important, because when you really put your faith in God, all the things that you're worried about, He'll carry you. He'll bring you through those things. So you're able to still focus on what you need to. But
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of my mental health comes from just being in faith and getting my spirit, or my mind, heart in alignment with my spirit.
Right. Okay. Well, can you tell me a little bit more, just like as a man, how do you feel about like these the word toxic masculinity? Just because I was looking at other podcasts. This is called Man Enough podcast. Shout out. I love that podcast. And this one guy was like, he hates the word toxic when it comes to it. So how would you define masculinity for yourself?
Masculinity for myself. You talking in terms like me being masculine, or just the term
Yeah.
masculine? Okay.
Well, it could be both. It could be like how you think it is, or because there's a how you feel that it should be shaped, or how do you define it for yourself? Yeah.
Okay. I feel like society makes, I guess society, they make masculinity as being manly, being the tough guy, being the protector, being, the breadwinner, being the head. I feel like they put a lot of pressure, which I think is on both sides. Not showing emotion, not just making things happen,
Yeah.
and things of that nature. Oh, and society is also, depending on the age you're in, or, I feel like men are growing up. It's, you got to have the money and you got to have the women. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh yeah, you're the man now. You got respect. Those things. But I feel like being a true man, I think that's being able to be a leader, to be able to show emotion. I feel like a lot of us, a lot of society, they look down upon people who cry, but I feel like showing emotion, that shows true strength, because we're taught not to show emotion. So if you're able to be vulnerable around others, that shows true strength.
Right.
But being able to show emotion, being able to communicate, you have to be a good communicator, because you can't be a good You can't be a good leader if you can't communicate. You can't build a household. You can't build a family without being a good communicator. Being able to just a number of things, because you can't be. I feel like you can't be a leader without being a student first. You have to be able to listen. You have to be able to take criticism. You have to be able to find a way where it looks like there's no way. Being able to handle your responsibility. I think those things probably make up a man.
So that is how you define masculinity for yourself.
Masculinity for myself.
Yeah. Is that how you define it for yourself? With the being a good leader, listening, communicating, having those vulnerabilities?
I would say so.
Okay.
I would say so.
Awesome. There was another question. So I'm kind of going on like, I'm hammering you on being a man. I'm sorry.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Do you believe in the patriarchy?
Depends. What do you mean?
Well, okay. I had this conversation with my brother, and he doesn't believe that there is a patriarchy, and so we had to come to. Me and him get into that's kind of just a side note, just in case if he ever listens to this is the reason why I harp on masculine. Mental health for men is because I have two brothers, and this is kind of like my love letter to them, just making sure that they know that they're seen. So this is also me having an argument with my brother. Side note. So the patriarchy, it's like that patriarchy existed, or like that men ran everything, basically.
You talking about more so in the household?
Yeah, I guess so. Or just in general, like how our society has been created just by a patriarchal society where men are the head of everything. So yeah.
So I think men are called to lead.
Okay.
We are supposed to lead, but it's when we're not able to lead, if we don't pick up the mantle, if we don't walk in what we truly are, then women have to pick up that title, have to pick up that responsibility, because you're not. But I do think it's for men to lead, for you to lead your household, be the captain of the ship. You know what I mean? To lead your wife, lead your family, and things of that nature. But when you fall short, the have to take over because you're not doing what you're supposed to do as a man. And some women, I'm not gonna. I think that's usually how it is. But then some women are also called to be leaders. I think it's not as well for me. I don't think I don't feel that they are usually called. There's not more women leaders called than there are men leaders, but I do believe there are exceptions to the rule. So there are some women to be leaders, and there are some who had to become leaders because their significant other or things in their life have called them to move to that authority.
Okay. I still don't know if I won my argument with my brother then. Man, we be having some knockout, drag out fights. I'm gonna make sure he listens to this because he's probably gonna feel very vindicated. Thanks, Brandon. I'm the baby, so I always fight though. I'm just like but that's
I'm the youngest too of two sisters. I'm the youngest. I'm
the youngest of two brothers. Are you an Aquarius? Just curious.
I am. What does that mean?
Okay, I just gotta know because I usually get a good vibe off my fellow Aquarius. That's all. That's why I just be wondering.
Oh, you're so
yes. So can I ask you when your birthday is?
February 7th.
Okay, I was gonna say if you say 25th, I was gonna come over there and smack you. But yeah, no, never mind.
You're the 25th of January?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I was like, I get a vibe. I always get a look of Aquarian vibe. I was like, I can feel the Aquarian vibes from my fellow Aquarius. I was like, I think you're an Aquarius.
The thing, I'm not big on signs, nor do I pay attention to the horoscopes and things of that nature, because I feel like they're so broad. They'll be like, you're bold, you're a leader, and anyone will be like, yeah, that's me. So
right. I feel the same way, but I feel like sometimes they be pegging my behind. I was like, oh. You know me. Did I write this? But there's just,
Did I
I think
write
there's
this?
more, right? I feel like there's more just like an energy. I don't know if this is like I don't know. I don't know. It's just, or a vibe. Maybe just God was just like, I think you are similar. Ask him.
Yeah. So I'm like, yo, he's a real one. You got to be an Aquarius.
You gotta be an Aquarius. Let's make it. Except people always say that Aquarius men are crazy. I was like, I've met several Aquarius men and I've been cool, so I don't know what it is.
You said
So
me crazy.
that's what some people say, like Aquarius men are
I mean, sure. I'm an actor.
trash. I don't know.
You said trash?
Some people have said trash, but I don't say trash. I just wanted to clarify that.
Oh, I was like, that one's left. I was gonna say crazy. It's like I'm an actor, so I have different, I have a lot of different sides to me. I can be, but like, I don't think that's my nature to just be crazy.
No, I feel like you seem very calm, and you probably, like you said, we all have different sides. Like,
Most definitely.
I could be very hype, or I can be very subdued, or I could just be in anything in between. We're multifaceted people, okay,
Exactly.
Brandon?
Definitely.
People are just not used to that. Okay, well, we're getting close to time, so I want to go just into some just regular questions, not so heavy.
Right.
So, as an actor, who is Brandon's like acting or actor look? Who do you look up to as an actor?
My favorite actor is Leonardo DiCaprio,
Oh, I love him.
but I like the variety that Will Smith has touched, like action, hitches, romantic comedy, the television and sitcoms. He's done drama.
Yeah.
He's done all these things. But I like the depth and the authenticity of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right. Okay, so I was gonna go into some fun stuff, but since you mentioned Will Smith, we gotta talk about it. Because I talked to one of my friends about the slap, and I would like to. Can you give me your opinion and how you felt about the slap?
Oh man, I love Will Smith too, but
Me too.
the thing is, I feel like it was forced. It didn't seem authentic to me. But the thing is, I say that because we didn't see what happened after the cameras went off of Will and Jada. Because when the first joke, he's laughing, he's hysterical. Jada, obviously, she ain't like it. And then we cut to him, we don't see what's going on. I don't know if Jada's like, yo, you need to go out and do something. Because that flip, it had to be he was truly touched or he was truly hurt by the reaction of Jada. But Jada looked like she had tougher skin, so I'm like, I don't know if that was the case, but who knows? She could have been extremely hurt, so it was to a point where, oh, nah, I can't let this rock.
Right.
But, or it was just like, you need to do something to handle this. And he had to go out and do that. Because the thing is, if she was hurt, I don't think, here's the thing. I think if she was hurt, he could just went off and said, hey, keep a name out your mouth. Not him going up there, making a scene and smack it. I think that sounds like someone done told you to do that. Because that's too big of that's two totally different sensations.
Yeah.
He was hysterically laughing, and then now you want to go up and slap him. That's a lot. And you slapped him with some authority.
He sure did. And that was like, he had a form which was like protecting his back. He switched his back, brought it back. It was a very, very proper form.
He was looking like Thanos with the
He had that finger. He had that.
Yeah, he had the five stones in that hand. Like,
oh my god! It wasn't a snap; it was a slap, and he just took the world out and changed the whole world in one moment.
Right.
It was literally the slap heard around the world because I think it's a little bit. I'm mad that they're banning him from the Oscars for 10 years. I think that's complete and over exaggeration.
But something has to be done though.
And I get that. Like 10 years though, 10 whole years.
But this is another thing that I got too, because you see Will Smith on it every day. You know what
Mm-hmm.
comes with the what comes with the territory of being who you are.
Yeah.
You can't act like that. Everybody has jokes, and you continue. The thing is that joke would have been brushed off 5 minutes
Yeah.
later. No one was going to remember that. But because you did that, everybody remembers the joke. Everybody remembers the day you finally get your Oscar.
I know.
And now it's
It
in
was
relation
such
to
a
that.
beautiful moment for him too. I was like,
But it's just like that's a lot. It's a lot to go into that. So when I seen that, I'm like, Will's going through something. For him to allow that to happen,
yeah.
I'm like, he's going through something. And sadly, again, I love Will, so I don't want to bring all this stuff up. But it's to a point where he's like joined social media to revamp his career because after Earth,
Yep.
after Earth, it was like he lost a couple.
He
a lot
lost something. Yeah. Except, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was gonna say because he had a production job. I think it went left after that. But basically, he came back with social media, and then Jada jumped on social media. But since these last couple of years with Will being in the negative spotlight, it's been surrounding Jada. So it's been like So that's just been my thing. But I think a lot of these things have been, it's surrounding Jada. Obviously, they're one, therefore it's both of them. But for the most part, it's rooted from Jada. So I'm just like, So that's my thing.
See, because like it's such a nuanced situation. I feel like okay. So I was like, damn, I hate that he had to commit violence on screen. I wish he would have just shook him or just like, bruh, keep my name wipe out your mouth. I just wish he did not cock that Thanos arm back and slap him across the face. Because like I don't care about respectability politics because I think there's a lot of like when white people were in it there's like three different camps. There was the camp that was like, oh, don't do this in front of white people. I don't care. White people have done a lot of crazy stuff in the world, so they need to calm down. Y'all can't say nothing. Y'all can't judge nothing or nobody. So that was the camp that a lot of people fell in. A lot of people was like, protect Black women. I was like, yeah, I was in that camp too. I was in more of that camp. And then other one, then there was also a camp that seems they were just mad at Will for defending Jada because Jada cheated on him.
Nah, I'm not rocking with that because I mean that's your wife. You do what you got to do. But I think what he did was over the top. I think all you had to do was yo, stop putting her name in your mouth. That's all you need to do, and make that known. You don't have to walk all the way on stage and stop. You could have handled that in the backstage.
Man, well, he could have met him backstage and slapped him. That would have been fine.
Right, but I think in that moment you just like stop talking about it. Leave her alone. You don't know what the fuck she's going through and things of that nature, and that would have been it. You don't have to do all that.
I just wish he would have just said, "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth." And that's it. That was enough for me. I was like, ooh, because that, like, seeing him in that level of anger was definitely not the Will Smith that we know.
Yeah, that's all.
That's all. I was like, man, I just wish you just stopped. Just didn't like, because to me, if it was me, I would have grabbed his hand and was like, baby, you got this. So that's why I wondered too, like you, like, so was it the look? Did she say get him? Whatever. But I would have been like, we got this.
Something had to have been said because you could have seen her face and I would have been like, yo, you know what I mean? I think that's words at that point because I was laughing and then to have that level of anger out of nowhere, I think it seemed forced. It seemed forced. I think there was something behind it, but it looked more forced. I think it could have been like, yo, chill out. We're not doing that. And if he was like, then it'd be like, what is the Jane joke? At that point, that's when you walk up like, yo, I just told you to stop playing. Like that's a more realistic reaction as opposed to just laughing, cuts, and you walking on stage and smack the heck out of somebody. You know what I mean?
The slap her across the world, man. Mm-hmm. I just hate it. I hated that it had to happen, but I think it brought up some conversations, and I do agree that he should definitely there are consequences to his actions. It also brings up another thing for me. There's always an overreaction when a Black person does something versus when white people do something.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm like, they better not take this man's Oscar. This man has worked his ass off in Hollywood for 30 years now, or 30 some plus years. Yeah. He's made the Hollywood money out the butthole, and y'all are not going to take this Oscar. I don't think he should have been banned for 10 years. I think a year, pay a hell of a fine, And I think maybe suspended for a couple of years or a year from the Academy.
Yeah.
Because there's people doing worse things in Hollywood right now than Will Smith. And I think they're making an example out of him, which to me is not fair. Because I'm like, what about the Weinsteins, the Spaceys, the Woody Allens? Because some of these folks are still, Woody Allen, I think he still makes movies. And he a whole groomer.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's just, that part makes me mad. I agree with taking responsibility, definitely. But yeah, thank you. I like getting your Black actor, man actor's point of view.
No problem. But that's another thing too. That's another thing we have to keep in our minds, because us being Black and being in a certain level of status, it don't even have to be a level of status, just knowing who we are. We have to walk a finer line. And he knows that. That's the thing. So like, to do that is kind of like, what are you doing? You know, so you know the weight it already is to be Black, and then to be at that success, you know, you have to walk a tightrope. And he's done well. So for him to have that moment, and his shining moment is like, it's so deep. You know, maybe the devil really got him on some.
Right, because what did Denzel say? He said, because he said in his speech that Denzel told him that when you're at your highest moment, the devil will come get you or test you or something. And I was like, man, no true words have been said. But the one thing though, I wish that we could rest. Black people cannot rest.
Yes.
And I think what that showed is that we do need to have rest, and we need to be human, because the thing is, we put ourselves on a higher pedestal because we have to, because we have to be 10 times better to be even seen. But I think that also showed that we need to humanize ourselves, because we're not machines. We're not slaves anymore. And we're not machines. We are, like we talked about in the beginning, we're human and we have emotions, and we need to be able to be seen, because if a white person would have done that, they probably would have said, oh, he must have had a breakdown. Oh, he's been so stressed out.
Exactly.
Oh, he's done this, you know, da. Because we as Black people, we don't get youthification. We get adultification. White people get they get younged, you know, like during Trump's administration, where they were like, was Donald Trump Jr., he sat down with the Russians. They called him a kid, and he's 35 years old. He's a kid. He didn't know what he was doing. What? Come on now. He knew exactly what he was doing, because he's 35.
Exactly.
So I think there's this, the slap brought up a lot of conversations in one, we need to rehumanize ourselves. Yes, he's on a platform, but he also is a man, and he's a person, and he's tired.
Yeah, and I think this actually comes full circle for our conversation, because again, Will Smith knows what it is to be at this level. So for him to go through that and to do that, I think he is and was and or is going through something. And I feel if he took the proper ways to cope and care for himself, that wouldn't have never happened. Because especially now with him being on social media and being as big as he is on social media, I think it opens another realm and another space for people to look at you and be in your space.
Yeah, because it brought us into, because I know that like a lot of celebrities are very closed off because they are public figures, but he did bring us into his world a lot more, which I think definitely helped his brand, because like he was kind of elusive and we didn't know what Will Smith did, but we always wanted to know. But now we know, we think we can have all these opinions and conversations. But I'm like, no, he's still a human.
Yeah, but that's where the demons come in too, because when we're at that level, you bring, there's a spirit that come with it. So it's like, especially being social media, everybody's in your stuff now. But if you notice, since he's joined social media, you know, he's had some successes, but now you see more of his pain is right in everybody's hands now.
Yes, sir.
August and the marriage and this and like everything is like coming out, and it's just like, Lord. And to a point where how can I rest? I feel like everybody knows me now. Everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough. It's hard because it's like, as a normal person, I'm like, oh, thank God. I don't have all these people in my ear, but I know with me wanting to do this podcast and building a platform, that comes with a certain level of responsibility, but definitely not on the level of Will Smith. Because that man, he is he is just a deity when it comes to acting to me. Like he's on that higher echelon of acting where you're just like, that's who I want to be, you know?
Most definitely.
Right. But one thing I want to say, this is kind of a side note. After Earth, have you rewatched that lately?
Lately? No. That was terrible.
It wasn't terrible. Let me explain.
Oh my
Let
God.
me explain. Okay, I have to digress because people think I thought that too. Just hear me out. Just hear me out, okay?
Jaden should have never had that role.
No, okay.
That was hard.
I want you. Okay, so I may have a different opinion, and I'm trying to slowly change people's minds about After Earth because I was like you. I watched it. I went to theaters because I was so excited because it's Will Smith, and and Jaden was after the Karate Kid or whatever. So it was beautifully shot because it was so different. Like it's still a beautiful movie. But it had no context, and it was definitely because it dropped you in the middle of a story that you had no idea about. You know what I'm saying? And you're just like, why is this accent weird? What is this? And it did some things. But if you rewatch this as an older person, right, going through life, just to try it out, because I rewatched certain movies because I'm like, is it as bad? Because so side note, I lost my dad in 2018.
I lost my mother in 2019.
Oh my gosh. Lord have mercy. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for yours. Cool.
It's so hard. That's like the gut punches in your chest and it rips your heart out. And so I watched that movie and I saw it what it was supposed to be. It's a story of a father and son having a relationship, and you are trying to get out of your father's shadow. You did your whole life emulating him, but then you become your own person. And then sometimes your father will either leave you or he becomes silent and you don't have that guide. So you have to use whatever lessons that you've learned to guide your life and actually overcome your demons and fight the battle. That's what I saw. I cried like a whole damn baby.
Wait, because it was bad or because you got
that's what I got from that movie.
I'm playing with you. Okay, yeah.
So I was like, just give it another chance. It actually was not that
bad. I didn't know if you was crying because you got the realization of the story, or if you cried like this movie is still really bad.
No. It's actually a lot better now when I see it with grown-up eyes, with older eyes. Because I was like in my late 20s when I watched it too, and my dad was still with me. I didn't have those big traumas yet, So when that big trauma hit, and then so now I'm looking at it, I was like, oh, just give it a chance. Just give it a chance. I just dare you.
And what did you think about Gemini Man?
Okay, that was bad. No shade. It didn't make no sense. It was good. Like it was a good action, but it was kind of bad.
But at the end of it, I saw the face thing messed up, and it was like,
oh, it did? I didn't notice that.
The young Will looked like it looked crazy. But the thing is, please don't think I love Will to the bottom of my heart, but I was like, what is going on?
Oh, me too. I watched that. I watched it in 2020 because it came out in 2020, I think. And I watched it. I was watching with my mom, and she was like, "This is not good." I said, "It's not." I don't know what it is. The action was good. The fight scenes were good, but it's just
the acting was bad.
Yeah, something about it. The acting just wasn't hitting.
No, but it was really because they had a director that they brought in. I forgot he did something else. It wasn't really his thing to do that, but the acting all around wasn't great. The writing wasn't good, and it's just
Yeah, I think you're right. The writing just didn't hit. It was just something about it. Because I was watching, I was like, this is just feels so stilted. But Bad Boys 3? Was it 4? 3? 3 was good. I liked it. I like Bad Boys 3. I was like, yes. I actually liked Bright. Bright was good too.
Bright was cool. A lot of people don't like Bright. I actually like Bright.
Me too. I like fantasy stuff. It was a fantasy cop drama, and it felt like old Will Smith to me. It felt like that's when he was starting to come back to his, his brand, his kind of like cop, but I don't know. I thought it was good. That's when I was like, oh, he's coming back to himself. I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, that was his first movie coming back.
yes,
because
I agree.
he was gone since After Earth. But
He did other movies, but I get it. That
no,
there was a lot of movies. He did a lot of movies that just didn't hit at all. I remember, like, man, nope, I'm not going to see that. I'm not interested in this card game one he did with Margot Robbie. I remember his movies, but I did not watch them.
That one I watched it like 2 times because again, that one I didn't get, but I'm like, I like Will. Maybe I'm missing something, but I didn't.
Yeah, I think it was.
The writing, I think it was the writing in that too. Because Marco Wright is awesome. He's awesome. It's just the writing. I was like, what's going on?
I think that's probably what it is. He hit them right. Because if you got a bad writer, bro, like these movies just don't be hitting.
Yeah, because you could do as much as you can, but like, and then it's also in the editing room. So it's like if you take some spots out, it's like, wait, why is this happening? It's like certain things just didn't click.
It just didn't click. Because I know exactly. It's the After Earth, that movie. And then it was Concussion. And then I think that was something else. And then that's when I think he did like a whole revamp. And that's when he started doing the social media. Bright came out. He did the 14th Amendment documentary, which is amazing on Netflix. Like,
I think I tried to get into it. I never continued doing it.
It's good because they do this little thing where like different actors portray different civil rights or different people in history. So good. He wasn't even in it that much, but I learned so much and it was so good. So anyway, the moral of the story is I love Will Smith. I think he's definitely still going to come back from this. But I think he definitely, I think he is, like you said, going through a lot that he's still not showing us. And that's okay because he doesn't have to. Exactly.
But if anything, when they want to take it out, it's going to be on the red table talk, and he's going to be like, why are we doing this?
I think, because there was a video, I'm going to send it to you after this, that apparently Jada put up there, and it was like, he was filming, he's like, Jada, I don't like to be on camera. Social media is my bread and butter, and I do it, he does it very, what's that word? Intentionally when he does it. And so when she did, he just looked real upset. I was just like, oh my. And my friend, and I'd hate to even feel like this, but my friend was like, I think Jada's a narcissist. And I was like, no, I don't think so. But then after seeing that, I think she is a narcissist.
No, she very much is. And that's why it's kind of what I was touching on. Because I'm like, a lot of his pain, as of recently, has been rooted from Jada. But
yeah, I know. I didn't want to believe it, but I've had, no one really wants to believe that women can be narcissists because we women, we have the duality that we're seeing either as meek and mild, but we don't show a lot of the narcissistic tendencies that women can actually have because unfortunately men carry the burden of being the scapegoat right now. But I'm like, women are trash too. We all are trash. Everybody can be trash. I'm more of an equalitist, like, hey, women can be trash. Just as trashy as men can be, honestly. And because we've learned it, But anyway. Well, I think we're a little bit over time, and I don't want to keep you forever, but there's one, I would keep you forever, honestly, because it's been a great conversation, Brandon. Like, I love this. And, can you tell us anything about your movie, the Lifetime movie, or is it, you got to kind of keep it under wraps until it comes out? I don't know how that works.
Honestly, I don't know when it's coming out yet. It was actually a Christmas movie, but it's called, I think I can tell you. It's Ginger Snap Christmas.
Oh my God. So can you tell us like your character, or can you give us some info, or are you gonna wait?
To be honest, I'm just keep it short, I'm the brother of the main character.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Oh, I love it. Oh, and it's black. Oh, I love that we're getting more Black Christmas movies. Yes, I'm so excited. Ginger Snap Christmas. I'm definitely going to watch it because I used to did not like those Hallmark movies because one, it was just always white people fall in love. But now that I see Black people fall in love, it makes me happy.
Nah, most definitely. I hear that.
What about the pilot? Can you tell us anything about that, or is that kind of low key?
That's probably a little more low key, but
okay.
Yeah, it's a pilot. So, there's already some. My boy, he's someone I know is actually he wrote the book that we're actually basing it off of. But
Ooh, can you tell us the book at least?
I can't tell you the book.
Oh no! Okay, that's cool. I get it. I can at least ask. You gotta ask the questions.
Oh, definitely. But
I'm excited for you though. Okay.
thank you, I appreciate it. But we shoot that next week. Oh,
Okay.
he's expressed that there's a number of networks that are interested in it. So I was kind of just getting the
Okay.
pilot out to send out, and we'll go from there. But I'm actually a counselor in that. But that's all I would say.
Ooh. Okay. I'll take that. I'll take those little tidbits, honey. I'm so excited. Okay. Well, my last question, and then I definitely want you to make sure you let us know how we can support you. And when I put the episode out, I love to ask this question to all of my guests. But when did you fall in love with your Blackness?
Oh, let me tell you a funny story.
Please.
Let me tell you something. If y'all see me, oh shoot, y'all probably see my social media. I'll put it out there. But like, I'm light skinned.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the first grade and I was with my family and my sister, she's brown skinned. My dad, he's brown skinned. So my sister was talking to my dad, whatever she was talking about, she was like, yes, you know how Brandon's light skinned, but he's black, right? And I was like, I'm sorry. It was like, what? I was like, I'm not black. It was like, Brandon, you're black. I'm like, I'm not black. They was like, Brandon, you're black. I was like, are you serious? Like, you're black. I was like, oh shoot, all right, cool. So I go to school the next day. I was to school in the Bronx, PS 97, and there was this girl in my class, Tianica. Yeah, I gotta give it a blackest name. Love you, Tianica.
Yes.
But she usually in class, and she'll be like, "Shut up, white boy." So she'll always say that, and I'm like, whatever. And then I remember we was walking, like class ended, we was walking. I said something to her. She was like, "Shut up, white boy." And I happened to be next to my sister walking out. I was like, "No, I'm not white. I'm black." She's like, "Brittany, you are not black." I was like, "I am black." Let her know I'm black. She's like, "He's black." She's like, "Yo, I ain't never been so proud to be black."
That reminds me of Trevor Noah, like how.
Oh man.
How it worked, and like how there's because he said his little brother explained because they had the same thing. His little brother said, "You know how there's dark chocolate and milk chocolate and white chocolate, but we're all chocolate. Like that's how we just come in different shades."
Right.
That's adorable. I love that. Well, I think we've reached a great ending. Like, I really have loved talking to you. Can you please let everybody know how they can support you? And I'll make sure to put it in the description as well.
Most definitely. Everybody, I had a great time with you all. Love this talk. You can follow me and subscribe to me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube by Mr. Brandon Joseph. And one of my videos is actually on each platform. You can check it out on YouTube. It's basically a love letter to Black women. I'm simply saying, Black women, we love you. And yeah, just expressing my love to your Blackness and just to uplift us and make sure we live in who we are and love who we are created to be.
Yes. And y'all, let me tell you, because he did it. He looked you right in the eyes, even though it's like to everybody. And I felt it. I was like, thank you. Thank you, King. We love you too. Well, Brandon, thank you so much for joining me on my podcast. I am so excited to see all the amazing things that you're doing. And I will be watching Ginger Snap Christmas. Like, I'm going to point at the TV and I'm going to like, I interview him. And when you get your Oscar, I'm going to be like, I interviewed him.
Most definitely. I'm not going to smack anybody either.
Oh, please don't get your Thanos hand out. I just want, when you wouldn't win your Oscar, I hope you remember this conversation and you have like all the rings on your hand.
I'll probably do that as an inside. Just have five rings on my hand.
That's exactly. Just so I'd be like, he remembers.
Nah, keep that in the vault. I'm gonna do that too.
Yes, I would most definitely. And then once you do it, I'm gonna replay it back in 2020 up to 2025. I don't know when you win that Oscar, but I feel it. And I'll be like, he remembers, and I'm gonna be extremely happy. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be in the audience with you, and I'm like, yeah,
Let's
that's
do it.
what I do.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
Yes, honey. Well, thank you so again. Thank you. This has been just the most great conversation, and I got a lot out of it, and I really appreciate your perspective. And just from a Black woman speaking to a Black man, I want you to be safe, happy, love, and just be able to express your vulnerabilities, and just keep your mental strong, and just keep doing what you're doing, huh?
I was definitely saying a thank you. This is an amazing platform, and I think you sent me one of your podcasts before,
Hmm.
and I just want to say, just your spirit. I was like, oh yeah, we definitely gonna do this. So just say, I appreciate reaching out and for us to have this conversation. Just thank you, much love, and God bless you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And you have a great rest of your day and weekend. And I will put this out. It will be out not the 11th, but the week after the 11th on Tuesday. So,
Sounds good. All right, we'll be in contact.
yes, sir. Well, you have a great day. And this has been your girl with cosigns and tangents, and your girl Sailor Win. And as always, I love you. And bye bye.
Peace.